Hey guys, this is Becky and I am back with another process video. Today I am going to be using the Chamel True Stories collection from a paper pad and these alphas right here for my title. Here's the paper pad, and I'm also going to pull in another piece that I will show you when I get to it. I am going to be scrapbooking those two photos you can see right there. I'm using a piece of white for my background. It is a piece of paper that is from that paper pad that I didn't think I would use. Here's the other sheet I'm going to use. This is a double-sided paper. I am going to use this yellow side to house my photos and my title. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of a block off right there. My title says, "Thanks, Mom." I had already pulled out this title before I started recording because I knew what I wanted the title to be. This right here, this is a photo of a jar, and I do this stupid thing, and I know so many of us do this stupid thing where we will have a possession and it's something like this jar, but we don't use it. It just sits there. It's not really all that cute now, and you should get rid of it, but it holds this sentimental value. Well, I had talked about this before where I started doing the KonMari, and I just did that with this jar. Basically, I took a picture of it and now I'm scrapbooking it because this is a jar my mother had sent me at work many years ago, and it had candies and I think balloons in it or something like that. Well, when I was much younger, probably about 22, I was in real estate. And I went to the, real estate class or whatever and passed my little test I had to do. And so I practiced real estate for about 4 months probably. I sold one house. She sent me this jar with the candy and the balloons for selling my first house. Well, I was like, oh, that's too much stress because I cannot live on. It was kind of a higher dollar house, so I did get a few $1,000s, but I had a child to support. I was like, I can't do this. And I don't even know what I was thinking, why someone so introverted could go out and try and sell a house. I tried it. I wasn't good at it. Moving on. So anyways, that's what I'm going to write down here at the bottom. I have a ton of journaling. Okay, so I did pull out a whole bunch of embellishments. I got some Heidi Swap that I pulled out. There's some fussy cut elements from the Chamel paper pad, which is those Polaroid frames and some word strips and some flowers and a teacup right there. I am going to put a strip of the floral paper at the top and a strip of the floral paper at the bottom. This navy right here is going to go under that yellow, and I also have a strip of that up at the top as well. I did not do any stitching on this layout. And you probably also, when I was talking, you probably also saw where I had pulled out some label stickers from Echo Park. I am going to use one of those for my date. So this video is going up on September 2nd, I believe, and I should be in Portugal today. So if you're following me on Instagram, hopefully you have seen some photos, and we are having a fabulous time. I don't know, because it hasn't really happened yet as at the time I'm recording this. All right, so I put the top and the bottom borders on. They were a little bit longer than the paper I used for the base, probably just because I cut it a little too short, and that's fine. I don't care if there's a little bit of room around my paper and the page protector. It doesn't really bother me that much, or at all actually. Okay, so after I put this down, the yellow piece with that blue, that is going to be the base of my layout, and then we will just start embellishing. I'm going to go ahead and commit to this photo placement right here. This jar, I mean, it's not hideous. It looked really delicious when there was candy in it. It's not hideous, but I didn't use it. It just sat there. So that's why I wanted to get rid of it. But then, like I had said before, I was emotionally tied to it. So this was a great remedy. I feel good about it. Okay, so I went ahead and put my title down right there. It says Thanks Mom. And when I had first put the letters down, I don't usually record myself putting down the letters because that's just not something I do. It was blending in with the yellow. So I did take out the Kelly Perky ink in blue and inked around the edges of it. This one right here. I inked around the edges of my alphas so they would pop out a little bit. I'm also going to use that same Kelly Perky ink to ink around all the items I am going to use to embellish this page. And most of them are fussy cut out of the paper pad. I used a floral paper, and there's another paper in there that has a bunch of phrases on it, and I did use several phrases, and then also the Polaroid paper. So here I am. I'm going to go ahead and start building up my little cluster. That one I just tucked under right there was an Echo Park paper. I'm sorry, I was like, what are you doing? I know what I was doing. I inked the edges over that paper and I was blowing off the fuzz from the inker. Right here I showed you a stamp set from Jelly Bean Soup. I am gonna, Jelly Bean, that's what they're called, right? I don't know. Anyways, I pull off a little tiny flower and I'm going to stamp some first and second generation stamps with that flower at the bottom left and at the top right. This right here is another sticker sheet or sticker strip from Echo Park, and I'm just masking this off with washi tape because I wasn't really sure how much I was going to stamp. I didn't know how far up or how far over I was going to go, so I didn't want it to get onto any of the borders. I am going to stamp, I think I said this, first generation and second generation stamping, and I do also pull out a yellow ink. Now in the end, you don't see a whole bunch of the yellow stamping, and most of the yellow stamping is going to be the second generation. I stamp it off first on that. You can see there's a scrap paper right down there at the bottom of the screen. I'm stamping it off on there first and then stamping it back over there, over onto the layout. Now most of that is going to be covered up, but you can see it peek through. It's really cute. I like the second generation stamp. I really like the faint. I think it would have been fine, or maybe even looked nicer if I would have done them all in the second generation. It is very cute. And you know, I love this Kelly Perky ink. I keep pulling it out. It is so pretty. I wish there was a lot more, or not a lot more. I wish there was some more colors than what I have. I don't think she has a lot of colors, or maybe I'm just looking in the wrong place. I think I had gotten those inks at Joann.com, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so the stamping's done, and we are, I say that and then I pull out the stamp again. We're going to go ahead and start building our embellishment cluster. I just stapled those two Polaroid frames together, and I'm going to stick them down right here. I'm going to stick that teacup right there on top to cover that staple, and also I think that Polaroid had a light bulb on it. I am pulling out some of these little wood bits from, I'm sorry about that, some of these wood bits that were also from the Chamel collection. Down there over that cup there's a little heart. I just layered those two frames up, those two Polaroids up, and I am sticking down that nicely done wood veneer up at the top. I do ink around the edges of the wood veneer. Looking at it, it makes them look a little messy. So if you don't like the messy look, you might not want to ink around your wood veneer. It doesn't bother me, but if I was a little more anal about that kind of thing, it might. Okay, so here is where I'm going to do my journaling, and I wanted to do the lines first. I wrote my journaling in pencil. Then I'm going to go and figure out where I want that embellishment cluster down there at the bottom right. Then I'm going to go back and write over my journaling in pen. So down there at the bottom there is going to be another sticker from Echo Park. Two of the wood hearts are going to be down there as well. Here's where I go ahead and pull out some of those fussy cut flowers and stick them down right there. I don't fully glue them down. I just glue down a little bit of them so that I can flip them up to give them a little bit of dimension if I want to. I am going to tuck some under that top cluster as well. You see right there, you can tell that was the edge flower I stuck under there. I cut off a flower from the edge of the paper so there was a straight line on it. I like to use those as well, even though they're not full flowers, because you can tuck them. So, okay, the phrase I'm putting up top says giving new things a whirl, because I was trying out real estate and failing. Underneath the coffee cup, I'm putting let's do this, and down there and by those flowers I'm putting here's my interpretation, and then it leads into my journaling. On that red border sticker that's under mom, I put another phrase right there. It says I'll never forget. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. I'm just using liquid glue to put those down. Right here I'm erasing the pencil lines. Okay, here are some My Mind's Eye enamel dots. I am going to use a few of the yellow ones, or actually I think the only 3 yellow ones I had in that pack. I'm going to use in all 3 clusters, and 1 each, and they are going to be tucked except for in the bottom right. This pack right here, I am going to use gray hearts because that flower paper that is bordering the top and the bottom, it has gray in it. I think I only put those in the bottom. I don't think I put anything in the top cluster with the gray hearts. You can see I'm playing around with it, but I think I take it off. Yeah. And this right here is from Recollections, and I am going to use a couple of the red, or a few of the red. Looks like I used 3 of the reds, and those I am tucking in as well. I really only have 1 yellow enamel dot that's standing out by itself, and then the gray heart standing out by itself. Okay, after I do that, I don't do anything else to the layout. I did not feel comfortable doing splatters because I've been really messing up my splatters lately, and I really liked this the way it was. I'm not taking still photos at the end because it's still overcast here, so I'm just doing these freeze frames. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.